Hey YouTube, it's your girl Jamila Love back with another video. Welcome back, welcome back. How are you doing, my busy bees? Staying busy, I hope. Keeping it sexy? Always. I mean, there's no other reason why not. And what I wanted to do is try this sexy palette from Illuminati X Issa that I got in my Boxy Premium. So pretty. I had to touch it. So pretty, right? So I'm just gonna dive on in like a swimming pool. Don't mind all this. I am filming pretty late tonight. Um, you know, life happens. I got my new band. My arm still hurts a lot, but we do what we gotta do, right? And what we gotta do is prime our eyes. Why did I stick them just that quick? I can't find my booby blenders, so I'm just going to grab a dry one, because it doesn't have to be wet for this, because I'm not doing full face or foundation. I'm just going to be doing the eyes. I wear a mask when I'm working, and I wear a mask out in the world, so you guys seen how if I'm going to be fancy, like go to church, I'll wear a mask, and you know, they have the social distancing, and I go to a pretty big church, so there's no, you know, worries about wearing foundation really with my mask. And if I do, I don't have to really worry about being judged, because you're not hugging anybody. And I go to a hugging church, like we hug, so it's very odd not to hug. But you do what you got to do right now. And I am using the Too Faced the Too Faced Born This Way multi-sculpting concealer as my eye base. You know, I should have tried the La Balm eye base, but I wanted to stick with what I knew, what we do. Nothing new, you know, nothing different. I'll try the La Balm tomorrow, and I'm going to set it with a little bit of banana powder, and it's tinted banana powder. Just a little yellow hue to it to give it that, you know, and it has a little luminosity to it. You can totally see some little shiny shimmers within here. But it does work, because I do have some reason it transitions in the wintertime to oily lids. You guys ever get that? I know our skin, all of our skin will change um, during summer, winter, fall type thing, but I put mine is pretty dramatic to have oily lids. Come on, couldn't I got something else? But then again, I don't want the itchies, because I used to itch a lot. So I'm going to go into the black called Soul, because we're still in October, but, you know, I want to make this super pretty, along with smoky. And not too many colors either, because I know I want to use colors that I figure other YouTubers that you may watch aren't going to use when they try this palette. You know, and everybody seems to be so scared of black, but I'm not scared of black at all. As you see, it takes a little bit of effort. I've been watching a lot of tutorials on this palette, and it really depends on the brush to how much you're picking up to get the payoff that you want. But once you got it on there, it blends out. And that was just one dip in the black called Soul. And it's giving me the perfect little smokiness to start with. And I just want this before, you know, I don't really go into a transition shade, but we could, you know. We really could. But yeah, they gave me this awesome Power Ranger band that is too big for my wrist because I have doll size wrists. So I have to put an ace bandage underneath it. And it squeezes. That's all it seems to do, is just squeeze. It doesn't seem to give me the support that I want without the ace bandage because my wrist is so small. And if you're wondering what brush I'm using, I believe this is a Luxie brush. Yes, it is. It's a Luxie brush, but it's just a type of a fluffy shader brush. Not too thin, not too thick, you know, but still can pick up some product and still move product around, as you see. Going eye to eye with no additional product on my brush. I'm just sliding that black around, getting it all nice and blended and smoky. It doesn't look like I'm blending much because my eye seems to be sticking, but I'm blending. I'm tapping and moving, tapping and shuffling it across, because that's what I've seen would be the best technique. Kind of a drop and swoop motion with this palette. And I gotta step back and see if it's even. Not quite. Okay. Always a ghost in the machines, aren't there? My little facial roller just fell off. But yeah. Okay. So it's not too bad. I don't know if you can see that. There's not too many like serious patches of anything to be worried about. It was like a little dull right here, and it was a little dull right here. But if I built it up anymore, I think it would overpower itself and won't blend out with the next color that I want to use, which is Trust. And I'm using a color switch in the same brush because if I get a different brush, I feel that it won't blend out the way it should. And this is what Trust looks like. It's kind of a burgundy color. And I tapped it on the middle portion of my lid right here, well, right next to the black. So it's basically just to blend out the black. But I'm still leaving this part out. And I don't want to touch any much more than that as a transition shade right there, or even to help me blend out right here, because I really want to touch that pastel, the pastel colors. So I don't think it should be too dark on the lid. Okay, back into my color switch. Now I have a feeling everybody's going to touch that purple. So I'm going to go out the box totally, because I fell in love with this color last night. I'm going to go into Sour. And the color I fell in love with, you'll see, I think it's going to be really pretty with Sour, which is this green color. And it's supposed to be a matte, but it has kind of a slight hue to it. Like shimmer to it, like a satin, but not really. And it blends in very nicely, even though you really can't, I really can't see the green anymore. I just see it as like a light wash of color, which is fine, because I want to go over it with a brighter color from this palette. How's the world been treating you guys, huh? I know it's kind of quiet right now. That's just because everybody's sleeping But I do really want to build this color up, even though it's getting on my nerves, like it's washing away. I can see it on my end. So I know you can see it on your end, that it's very, very, very light. Now the color I'm talking about that I fell in love with last night was 1996. It's like a yellow. It probably would come out a lot better if I would touch it like with my finger on the eye, but I don't want to do that. I want to use a brush with it because there is another color called Purple Dream. Purple Dream, that is just a topper, and it'll make it kind of shimmery. So I'm going to bring this from the center and just blend it into the inner corner instead of making it like dominant in the inner corner. Yes. It's such a pretty color. I know it would be so much more vivid and bright if it was wet, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to avoid doing that just to this set of colors because I want Purple Dream to be wet. And I'm keeping that outer 1/3 very smoky. Okay, so now we're going to go into Purple Dreams. Like I told you, it's it's got a purple hue to it, but it's just basically a shiny eyeshadow topper. And as you see, it should just be fine. We're using the same brush. It's a very chunky girl. So we're going to try her wet, and then we're going to try her with our finger. So be careful, there is going to be some chunky fallout if it doesn't adhere to your eye right away or your skin right away. I like that shine. Ooh, she is chunky and she kind of moves. You know, maybe I'm going to spray not just the brush, just to try it. I'm going to spray the palette itself. Yeah. Now it comes off more like a paint that's not too... Yeah, that's much better. Spraying it directly on the eyeshadow palette, my setting spray. And I'm using the Oprah setting spray. Ooh. That is going to be the one color that hits pan really quickly, because I love that. You can still see, even though I pulled it all the way down, you can still see the gradients of the yellow 1996, but you can also see everybody else. Alright, well, since my brush is wet, I have to get a new one to do the, what Kieran Emile says is touch-ups. So I'm going to go back into each color that I used backwards. So the yellow, which would be 1996, will be first. Just to make sure it's still getting its shine through. And this is a Medusa makeup brush. And I like it because it'll, look at its shape. It's got a hair hanging out. But you see how it's like a triangle? I can use this side to put the color on and this side to blend it out. And that way, it's still there. you know, as far as one brush. I mean, sometimes I like to switch up and use a lot of brushes, but sometimes I like to have the realization, you know, I started out with one brush. I started out with one palette, and it is just fine. Now that I have a ton of them, I still go back to my comfort zone. 1 to 2, maybe 3 different brushes, and call it a day. Now this video is not going to be a complete look video. It's going to jump. I'm going to go into BBY Girl, so I guess Baby Girl, which is like a sunrise color. Same brush, not wiping any of the color off, and I'm going to dab that in between the yellow and the black. Because I got these Ardelli lashes that are completely top and bottom magnetic, and I want to try them with this look. So there'll be a part 2, and the reason it has to be a part 2 is because I'm still the one-armed bandit, and I'm not quite sure if I will be able to do it within a few minutes without pausing you guys, and I don't want to pause you. I want it to be about the lashes. But as you see, I'm just tapping that color, and I mean, I literally tapped the smallest amount of black on the same brush. Started in that blind spot that I told you about right here that was kind of like pale, and just go up and around back in my triangle form. Could even go a little cat eyes. Pull it out some more, like Glam with Suzanne. A lot of people like theirs really far out, but I mean, this palette has transformed. We can totally go into a Halloween look. Something that's very glamorous and still very wearable, which I think is really nice. But I love that dual chrome look or feel or foil. I don't know what it is, but it is everything. Okay, so I'm going to go back into Trust with the same brush, tap off any excess, and just go up right here above and deepen up that area that would be my crease without touching the other shadows too much. Because it kind of looks like a cut crease, but we didn't cut nothing. Just wet the shadow. I'm just blending it all the way up to the brow as much as I can before I feel that it's gotten too dark. Because I can go into Addie or back into BB Girl, and lighten her up. Because there's still residue from all the shades on here. So I wouldn't imagine it not wanting to go a little darker. Especially when we're working the corner. What do y'all think? I really like it. I'm going to go into Baby Girl. Back in the same spot. And just work it up to the brow bone. And I love the point on this brush, because you can go in and get that nice shape and clean up at the same time. I got this, oops, I went to the wrong color, in one of their mystery boxes, I believe. Yes, I believe so. But it's a 2-brush duo. You get this one and you get like a shader or pencil brush. That is their signature brushes, I guess, or their most popular brushes, is what it's stated. And I can see why now. Okay. Well, that is part 1 to maybe a part 3 or 4 series, because I'm going to use a cake liner next to do a nice cat eye. So if you like this and you're new here, thank you for stopping by. My name is Jovina, and I like to do makeup tutorials that are extremely long because I really like to give you a lot of details. So we use the Illuminati X Issa palette to create this look. And when I come back, we're going to work on a cake liner. Now I have 2 different types. And I'll see you all in the next one, okay? Bye.